One of the most interesting parts of the Ketores is not only the spices, but how they did the spices. You know something very fascinating? After you read through the spices, it says what they did. So they put all the spices in a big tub and they mixed it. They didn't just mix it. If you look at the end, it says, Tanya Rabbi Nassan Omer. Rabbi Nassan says, Kishahu shochek, when they would grind, Omer, he would say to the spices, Hadek hetev, hetev edek, right? Grind thoroughly, thoroughly grind. So when they were making it, they'd be talking to it. Why are they talking to the spices for? So right away it says, because bipnei shakol yafel b'samim, because the voice was yafel b'samim, was pleasant to the spices. Really? The spices changed because of the guy saying grind and smiling? So there's a great study that I saw years ago that reminded me of this. It was by a doctor named Dr. Masuru Emoto. Dr. Emoto believed that words had power. So what he did was he created an experiment where he took cups of water and he put them next to each other. And for some cups, he spoke to the cup of water, the inanimate object water, with affection. I love you, with love, with care. For some cups, he spoke with anger. I hate you. And then he let it sit there, froze the water, and took pictures of its crystal arrangements, and found that in the positive cups, they had these beautiful crystals. And I'll show you here on the screen what I'm talking about. Check these out. And for the negative cups, they had misalignment and disgusting patterns. And then he did it again and 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 again. People that he respected and he hated, expressions, line, whatever, again and again. And he noticed that every time he did something positive, said positivity, the crystals came out beautiful. And every time he had negativity, the crystals came out negative. And it reminded me of this Ketores. You know, Dr. Moto was doing it, 20 years ago. We were talking about this thousands of years ago. We don't appreciate the power of our words. Our words are vessels that contain our emotion, that contain our thoughts. They enclose our feelings. And when they get delivered, it's almost if the package hits in a word and then unleashes the emotion in somebody else. And if it has an impact on the crystals of water, and if it has an impact on the spices, what is the lesson here? The lesson is that your kol, your voice, should be yafel b'samim. They spoke to the spices because a warm, affectionate, positive voice changes spices. Well, guess what? A warm, affectionate, positive voice changes people. Now ask ourselves, when we speak to people, is our voice yafeh to them? Is it building them? Is it creating beautiful crystals within them? Or is it not? Every day when you read the Ketores, think of that. When you go to shul, when you go on Shabbos, you see a Shabbos table. You see that they cover the challahs to not embarrass the challahs when you make kiddush on the wine. It's also teaching you a lesson that you don't embarrass people. The challahs have feelings, and everyone on the round table has feelings. Well, every day when you see the Ketores and get to this point, stop and ask yourself: is my voice yafeh to people? Is my emotions that are being clothed in my language building people up or taking them down?